Hey guys! So I'm finally making my first video about a content-based thing, and I'm going to tell you about my application process and give you my role reveal. So I'm going to tell you first that I did apply on the day that applications open for fall 2018. That was January 22nd. And I had been preparing my application for about 2 months beforehand. My sister and I were constantly comparing our applications. We did have different job experiences, and she did a lot more like volunteer-based things where I had more like job-related things. So we went back and forth with that, and then everyone always tells you like, oh, the keywords are like the deciding factor, which is not true, by the way, but only lists 3 to 5 bullet points, which I know was not true for my sister, and she ended up getting pulled way before me. So don't pay too much attention to different like stigmas and different like fake rules that people like say is gonna help your chances. I mean, to a certain degree, obviously these things are like basic things regarding like resumes and whatever, but the thing about the Disney College Program application is that it's just so different. So when you're comparing yourself to different people's experiences, it's not 100% accurate. So, and then especially through the application process, you're like, well, people in my major weren't pulled today, that's what it is, but it's really not even regarding that. Like, your major and then the different roles that you list are so like minor things, I feel like, that the recruiters look at, because they always say like, you know, there's so many different factors that go into this, which is true, I feel like, because when you try to compare yourself to different people during the application process, everyone has a different story. There are people who get in who have no work experience, so I mean, I try to figure that one out because I don't know how you answer a lot of the interview questions, but I guess they know that beforehand, that it's all situational. I don't know. I honestly don't know. My specific application had been it wasn't even under review. It was in applied. That's the very first step. So you submit your application and then you're in applied. I was in applied for almost 2 months, and it was pretty much 2 months. A lot of people do get pulled the first day, and it is what it is. I wasn't one of those people, and I wasn't put under review either. The next step after being in applied is under review, and some people do go under review without getting the WBI right away. I was neither. And eventually on March 13th, I was pulled. And I'm just going to mention that I did take my WBI through a part-time application, because I was thinking of, like, after being stuck in applied for so long, I thought, like, I'm just gonna apply and maybe work during the summer. So I applied for a part-time quick service position, and I ended up getting the WBI about 20 minutes. I'm pretty sure it was 20 minutes, but I'm just gonna say it was in like 20 minutes to a half hour, like after I applied, and it kind of made me angry. But anyway, I took and passed my WBI through the part-time position, and then I was essentially in the clear for the program. And that it helps you because you don't have to take it again, but I wouldn't say that it necessarily increases your chances of being pulled out of applied for the Disney College Program. I mean, I obviously don't 100% know, but they're different things, so the applications are separate. And just in general, the whole process is all different. So anyway, so I was pulled out of applied after I had taken my web-based for the part-time, and they had this thing, I don't know if it's every year, but this year, especially towards the middle to end of the season, there was this thing where you would get another thank you for applying email right before you were getting your WBI. And I remember I was talking in my applied group, which had like 30 members because, you know, it's like halfway through. And I had gotten this email, and so did, I think, 2 other girls in the group. And we were like, oh my gosh, because this means, like, based on everyone else, that we're getting our WBI. And literally not even like 3 minutes later, I get a, like, you know, Disney web-based interview email, and I'm like freaking out. And I'm taking a women's studies sex class. It's fine. Just like Disney. I'm like, oh my god. So, and since I had been pulled, now I didn't get WBI. I don't know why I said WBI. I got my phone interview because I had already taken the WBI, right? So I'm freaking out, and I turned to my friend, and actually my professor, as soon as I looked at my phone, he called on me to answer a question. I was like, oh, sorry, like I wasn't paying attention because I was just like in my own world. But I planned my phone interview when I got back to my dorm after classes, and it was also surreal to me because I had been in applied for 2 months, and my sister had been pulled a couple weeks before me, probably 3 weeks before me, and I was so discouraged, and I figured like, oh, maybe I'll just go down for the summer. I didn't really expect to be pulled out of applied. And when I did get pulled, planned my phone interview. I had my phone interview on the 16th of March. So that's not right. No, it is right. Oh my gosh, yes. I had my phone interview 3 days after I got pulled. And that was because I knew that it was at the end of the season. It sounds so crazy because towards the end it was just like rapid fire for me. Like, after being stuck and applied for so long. But, yeah, so I had my phone interview 3 days after being pulled, and I chose to do it earlier than later because I knew that, like, during the middle of the season, they send out acceptances, like, in big chunks. So if you're not in one of those huge waves, you get really nervous, and you just have to wait longer, essentially, because then it's, like, trickling, like, they call them, like, puddles instead of waves. So I knew that I just wanted to have more of a chance of being in a wave instead of, like, one of the little puddles. So I did the phone interview. I thought it went really well. I have it posted up on my channel. I'll link it down below. I watched Happily Ever After beforehand because I needed something to, like, I was so nervous that I just needed to, like, bring myself back into, like, what it was all about. So I started watching, like, my past Disney videos and stuff, and that really helped me. And I also printed out notes and did a lot of preparing for my interview. I definitely didn't go blind into it. I watched a lot of other people's interviews and got an idea for the different questions. So that was really helpful. I think I got mostly questions that I was anticipating. The hardest part is when you have I had a lot of different varying interests and roles. There were only about 4 roles that I didn't put any interest in. So not knowing which types of, like, you always know what type of question, but you don't know what role it's going to be regarding. So that was the hardest part. But I took that interview and then ended up having to take a part-time interview as well, like a week and a half later. And on the part-time interview, he said, like, basically that I was good for the role. So I was like, that's great, good, thank you. Because I knew that they wanted me, but not, I don't know, I was still hoping that it would help me with the CP. I ended up having both interviews before I heard back. So it was a long time. It was almost 3 weeks before I heard back about a decision. And I knew it was coming. NLIC or acceptance, I knew it was coming. Because I was accepted on April 3rd. So the applications closed on, oh, they closed March 22nd, but the last day was April 13th. So I knew I was getting there, and I just needed to help cope, and I was so ready to just know, because after waiting so long, it just comes to a point where you're like, I need to sort of move on, and that sounds terrible, but it's like holding on to something that you know you may or may not get, so planning classes and things like that becomes difficult when you're also hoping to not be there next semester. So I heard back April 3rd or 2nd. Sorry. I don't know. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure it was the 3rd. And that was probably the 2nd. But anyway, I was so ecstatic. I started crying in my stat class. I remember I turned to my friend that was sitting next to me, and we were doing individual work, and I was like, I got in. And she was like, you did? And I was like, I got in. So I started crying, like literally sobbing. So I leave the room and I call my sister, and I'm like, I got in, because she had already got in and we were going to Disney together. We were going to Disney together. So excited. And I go into the bathroom eventually, and then like other people from my class are like trying to get out of class. They went in the bathroom. I'm just sitting there, like I wasn't sitting, I was standing, but I was crying. And meanwhile, trying to open, my sister's like, what is your role? Like, yeah, you got accepted, but what is your role? So I was expecting to get quick service, because I had done my part-time interview for quick service, and he said he was giving me special consideration for that role. So pertaining to the CP, I was like, if I get in, I'm getting quick service. I open it, and it says merch, and I am up here. I am so excited, because merch is like what I wanted, like so badly. And a lot of people have mixed feelings about merch, but I feel like not as much as quick service. Not that it matters, because as long as you're there, it's great. It's fantastic. But I was so excited. So I'm in merch. I'm a merchandise CP for fall 2018, and I could not be more excited about it. I currently work at Ulta, so I have a lot of like experience with retail recently, so pretty excited. I'm not even pretty excited. I'm very excited, and I can't deny that. So my sister got custodial, and that was her low choice, low interest. I had high interest in merch. That just goes to show, like, she wanted a lot of the lodging roles, but just, they didn't even do housekeeping until like the very end, and then like, she actually wanted that. But it's okay. She's really excited, and there's a lot of good things that people say about custodial. She's just worried because she's like more on the frail side and like has to do the test for lifting weights and stuff. But anyway, we're both very ecstatic, and we will be going to Disney together, so look forward to that. And I will keep you updated. Let me know if you have any more questions about the program, and I will do my best to get these videos uploaded for you. My college semester does end next week, but I will be working at Ulta more in the summer, as well as traveling. So I will be taking you along with me, and just let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching, and please be sure to subscribe to my channel.